Recorded live from Portland, Oregon, it's the Transamorous Network podcast. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. This is Perry from the Transamorous Network podcast.
This is Remy Ilmatar.
Good morning, Shannon Scott here.
We're pumping it up.
Pumping
it up because we have
jam.
All right.
I, like immediately just
Nice.
Hoochie fi hoochie.
Shake that money maker. So this is going to be the we're a little hot on the sound, aren't we? Let me turn this down a little bit.
yeah, blowing out a little bit.
We are. What was I saying? Oh, this is the blacksploitation episode of the Transamorous Network.
Blaxploitation or transploitation?
It is transploitation.
Transploitation.
It's transploitation.
Yeah.
But we're akinning it to
We're
blackface
throwing props
and-
to those who came before us, the niggas.
It's because you're black, isn't it?
Yes, it is because I'm black, and I still have a chip on my motherfucking shoulder. I mean, after all, what we're going to be talking about happened to us before it happened to y'all.
True.
Did you hear that rhyme?
or
After all, what happened to us? What happened to y'all? Fuck,
That was
I can't remember what I
so
did.
good.
It was
So
better
good.
than that.
But anywho.
Anyway,
So what we're talking about is what's going on in the news today
Yeah.
and about this new
All
movie,
week.
these upcoming movies.
yeah, these upcoming movies.
that are coming up.
And the uproar that they're causing,
Right.
mainly because in one of these movies, the producer of this movie has a reputation for being socially conscious, but apparently he was asleep at the switch on this one.
And this is the Matt Bomer one.
Yeah, so
Okay,
Mark
yeah.
Ruffalo is
Executive producer.
The executive producer is known as a really great guy in all other circles. I mean, women love this guy because he's so socially conscious and spends a lot of his time on social issues. But apparently he didn't get this social issue when he decided he was going to make this show called, damn it, what's this damn show called? What's the movie he's making?
We all we have it. It's all in front. I don't know.
The Normal Heart, I think it is. Isn't it? No, that's what
I
Matt-
don't know that the
that's
name
what Matt
is-
McKinley-
I don't see the name anywhere.
I don't see it
the
either,
name being
actually.
given.
Oh, well,
That's
sorry.
interesting.
Google
No,
it.
We have the name of the other movie. But anyway, so
Okay,
Mark
so he's
Ruffalo
making
is producing this new movie.
This movie about a person who falls in love with a transgender sex worker. And the timing is really interesting because there's this show out that's on YouTube called Her Story. Very, very successful trans show about trans women and their plight in dating that's written, I believe, and acted by trans women, 2 trans women, very capable trans women, and the show won an Emmy, or at least an Emmy nomination. I think the show won an Emmy, and Jen Richards got a Emmy nomination. But anyway, Jen Richards, who is one of the main characters in Her Story, auditioned for this movie that Mark Ruffalo is executive producing. She didn't get the role. She wasn't going for the title role. She was going for another role. She didn't get the role because, according to the producers of this new movie, she didn't look transgender enough, which is very interesting.
Now, for those of us who haven't seen her, this is a really delicate subject to talk about people and how quote unquote passable they are.
It is.
But can you tell?
Well, I can tell because I have that radar. But here's a picture of her.
Oh, she's pretty.
She's very pretty.
Yeah,
she's very
she's
pretty.
gorgeous. Okay, so that for me is no, she's just. I know, but
Well,
we'll be real here. I want to be real here because
Right.
that's what he's talking about when he says you don't look transgender enough. It's because you look too feminine, and so there isn't that awkwardness, and that awkwardness really brings a lot of emotion to the story.
Well,
so,
it's freaking interesting because what that comment says is all trans women look like
a dude in a
Men.
dress.
a dude in a dress.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
which
what
is
they want.
Bullshit.
I think. And that's what when I saw. If you go online and look at the article, it's got a picture of the actor here, or is that the producer?
That's the producer.
That's the producer, Mark Ruffalo.
Okay,
Ruffalo,
so
yeah.
let's see. I'm just wondering. I'm wondering, is that what they're going to do? Is this going to be a situation where the movie's going to end up with a dude in a dress?
Well, it's interesting because I don't know if you guys saw The Danish Girl, a movie that I loved.
Exceptional.
Yeah,
it was wonderful.
It was wonderful, and Eddie Redmayne did a great job in that.
He
That's okay.
did, yeah.
He did a great job, and
I was a little like, oh come on, you couldn't cast a transgender person. But then after I saw the movie, I was like, oh, he did really good.
Well, see, and
he's so talented.
He's amazing.
I think there's a level that you have to maintain in Hollywood. It's like yes, you want to cast a transgender actor, but if they're not the best one, if they're not on par with the acting skill. I wasn't there during the interview or during the casting. I don't know like who actually portrayed the character better. And I know I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here, but you can't give someone the job just because. I mean, or do you think you can?
I don't know. There's a couple things in my mind. Number one, Mark said that the movie was written with Matt Bomer in mind, and the movie was already filmed. So the decision to cast Matt Bomer is literally in the can. They couldn't go back and redo the movie. That's number one. And then the other thing is Hollywood movies are all about making money. And back in the day when they were doing blackface, the reason why they were doing blackface is because they weren't going to put Negroes up there because they weren't going to make any money with those films. So the same thing is happening here. I mean,
right, but didn't Jen Richards say that during her audition for this movie, before it was filmed, she recommended to them that they choose a transgendered individual to play this main character,
Touché.
the transgendered sex worker.
Yes.
So she brought consciousness to them.
She did.
Early on.
She did.
And they still chose to go with whatever decisions that they went with.
Which is where I go about the money-making situation, because Matt Bomer, because of who he is and what he's done before, is going to draw audiences more than, no offense, Jen Richards, who nobody really knows yet.
I think that's a solid point. And if I'm the producer of a film about a transgender person, as a transgender person, if a transgender actor or actress comes in and they're not the best, I feel no obligation to cast you just because you're trans. I mean, that doesn't make you a great actor. I mean, it makes you trans. I'm not a fan of this whole, life has shit on you, so we're gonna unshit on you. It's like you gotta earn it.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's I keep going back to the days of African Americans not being on stage, and now that we have so many African Americans who are on stage, and even Latinos, the majority of the really famous Black and Latino actors are outstanding actors. It goes along with what you're saying, Shannon. You've got to be a good actor. You've got to be good.
No, if you happen to be a good actor and transgender, and we're using actor in the
correct, the
gender neutral,
the gender neutral sense.
So.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but we have no idea whether anyone else even went up for the main character part.
Oh, that's true.
And if any men, woman, or trans went up for this part. So
Correct.
we actually don't know those details. And if the movie was written with him in mind, they didn't have an audition for that character.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
But even still, she did bring it to their consciousness that maybe they should think about what the repercussions could potentially be by casting another man, cis man, into a transgendered role.
And this is where I think the trans community up in arms is...
Well, right. So it's up in arms because Jen Richards tweeted about the experience and what happened and finding out that Matt Bomer is the one. And she also, she goes in to talk about how she feels this is continuing to perpetuate trans
murder,
violence.
Yeah.
And
really? How so?
Well, so we're all going to have a little slight difference of opinion.
Yes, we are. I think so. Yeah.
Well, no, if you read the way she put it in her tweets, in my opinion, there's some validity to what she's saying, right? We, of course, don't want to focus on violence and negativity and stuff, but the way she basically puts it is that society continues to put men in dresses, right? Which it gives this whole shame level to anyone who might be interested in that. And so then, she talks about... Okay, we talk about fear, right, that transamorous men may have, or that men in general and our society has about what it means to talk to, be with, be seen with, date, any level of with a transgendered individual, right? And what does that make me?
Yep.
Right? And so she kind of says that this helps... Society watches movies. We get a lot of our information. We get a lot of our societal brainwashing through these kinds of things. And so she kind of talks about how that continues to perpetuate it because it continues to put the shame
on the guy who's attracted to trans people.
Transamorous.
Because a guy who's attracted to a man, quote unquote, man in a dress must be gay. And so portraying trans women in film as men in dresses, which is literally what you're doing when you put a male actor in a transgender role, you're perpetuating the stereotype, according to Jen Richards, that any trans woman is literally a man in a dress, which makes it difficult for transamorous men to legitimately and proudly own their transamory. And so when they're out there messing around trying to find someone that they can love, they end up murdering these women because they can't handle their own insecurity about what they're doing.
You know, I agree to a level, but here's my counter argument.
Go for it.
Did you feel like Eddie Redmayne was a man in a dress when you watched The Danish Girl?
Hell no, I wanted to date that bitch.
Right?
Yeah. He was beautiful.
I was one of these female pro. Like, she was fantastic.
I know.
In that movie, and so, you know, I don't think that argument holds up with this example.
I don't think it does either. In fact, I wrote back to her and I said, first of all, I wrote in a tweet back to her. I said, first of all, not all men who are attracted to trans women are ashamed of it, nor are they killing trans women. And then I sent her our unicorn video. And then I tweeted her again. I said, please don't contribute to shaming transamorous men back into the closet.
That's more my. Go ahead.
This is what she actually says, or this is part of what she says, that they, transamorous men, right, being with trans women makes them gay or less masculine. They seek us out, enjoy us, then punish us for their anxiety.
Right.
Let's be more direct. They have sex with us, worry that makes them gay, then reassert their masculinity through violence aimed at us. And this does happen. It's not that it's...
No, it does happen, but I think it comes from a deeper societal view than... And yes, these types of movies, I guess you could argue they do support that or don't support that. I might even argue that these type of movies, even though I would have preferred it be a transgender actress, it's awareness, if nothing else. It's like let's just like not do it at all unless we do it perfectly.
I agree. It's there is awareness being built, and the fact that, and this is why it's interesting, because our stories, right, inform our create our reality. And so in the same way that you're saying the film is creating awareness, so is the upset of the trans community. If the trans community just accepted this film and didn't do anything about it, we would not have the attention being paid to it right now that we're having attention paid. I mean, Vanity Fair did an entire article on Mark Ruffalo's apology. Mm-hmm. And so you're right. The whole thing is stirring up this awareness. And it's the same thing with the blackface back in the 50s or the 30s or whenever that was. I mean, no one really questioned white men painting their faces black to portray a black person on stage until much later. But today it's like, actually, I was going to say it's happening much faster, but it's been quite a while. Well, has it been a long time since has Hollywood portrayed trans women with men for a long time?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess
there
define
are
a long time.
There are some old classic movies with
okay.
some old classic actors who have played women in their day.
Okay.
You know, back in the 40s and things like that. You know, much of this movement came from those movies because this relaxes the muscles. It looks less manually. These are actual, yes. Yes, I've seen these. I
feel more relaxed.
I know, right? Or for all those just listening, we're all sitting here doing the what do you call this?
The limp wrist affectation.
So one other thing she says is, so back to the point. Why do men who aren't attracted to men, who only date women, think being with trans women makes them gay or less masculine? ? Because culture as a whole still thinks that trans women are, quote, really men. Decades of showing us that way in shows, it's been internalized. So this is
now that's a good point. People,
right. So it's
a lack of understanding. People don't get. They just don't understand what being transgender is.
Correct.
And what gender identity is.
Correct.
Because their gender identity matches their physical body.
Correct.
So they haven't had to go through the process of understanding, and so they try to let's explain this away easily, like you're crazy, or XYZ. Put whatever excuse you want to in there instead of just accepting the reality that gender identity is in your brain.
Yeah,
and
then the men who date those crazy bitches are gay.
Yeah,
that's the conclusion, and
that's absolutely not true.
No, it's not
at all.
But it sets up what Jen's saying, is that a guy who's out there trying to explore, well,
I think her point is valid.
It is valid.
Now, we as a group agree and think that she's taken it a little bit far? I think so.
Probably.
I think we think she's taken it a little far. She's taken it a little leap, but
here's what I don't like. I don't like the story she's telling. I don't like how instead of taking the position of, you know what, it wasn't done just right, and there's a lot of ways we could improve this, we're increasing awareness, we're doing this, and awareness, like, you don't get to, equality doesn't happen overnight, okay? I mean,
no, that's right.
It's like you don't
Not
just
at all.
snap your fingers and get it. So yeah, you take baby steps. You do 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You stumble, but it's out there, and we're increasing awareness, and it's becoming more and more okay.
Oh, for sure.
It's this. Yes, no, it's not perfect, but it's helping.
Yeah,
in
it's
my
helping.
opinion, because I choose to see it that way.
Yeah.
Well, and the possibility that the points that she has brought up from this situation and this movie will maybe give the next executive producers, the next potential movie,
Exactly.
right?
Yes,
a whole
yeah.
new concept
Yep.
and thought, and the way that they're going to write trans characters, that they're not all murderers or crazy or or whatever.
Or revenge seeking.
Or revenge seeking, which brings us to a whole
Oh
nother
my
movie.
Are we going to
Also
move into
happening.
this?
I think we need
Are we
to.
going to talk about this shit show right
I
now?
know.
Oh my
So there's
God.
another new movie called Reassignment,
Uh-huh.
right, with Michelle Rodriguez. Another
Who, for those who don't know, Michelle Rodriguez played the helicopter pilot in Avatar.
in Avatar, amongst
Yes,
other
amongst
other
other
roles.
And she was also in
She's a
Fast
real-
and the Furious. I
Oh,
think,
she
a real
was Fast and
badass
Real badass
Yeah,
chick,
yeah.
you know.
Right.
Kind of hot.
She is
She's
hot,
a
actually.
sexy hot Latina. But so
That was
this new movie,
objectifying, and I'm sorry to all the feminists listening.
whatever. So this new movie, she plays the role of a individual, a serial,
A hitman.
a hitman who's abducted by this crazy doctor, this rogue doctor, who gives her sexual reassignment surgery against
Oh
her
my
will.
God.
Against her will somehow.
And so then after that, she goes on a murder spree trying
As
to
a woman
find
now.
as a now a woman.
Now she's not trans. She wasn't born. How do you say it? She didn't.
She was a man who was forced
She was
into a sexual
masculine,
reassignment.
cisgender male who came out of this surgery
Right.
as a woman.
So she's not a transgender individual in the
Exactly.
sense that this is her choice and this
Correct.
is her insides now matching her outsides. Okay. this is we
It's the
stole
exact
Perry and gave him a vagina and left him there.
And I
Okay?
was pissed as a
Right,
result.
and pissed and really angry. And
Yeah.
so she goes off and becomes a killer, killing these people
Well, he
now.
already was- he
She was
already-
already a killer.
He-
It's hard to go with this one, right? Because the actress
Head on
is
the- head
Michelle
on the table.
Rodriguez, and
This is
she's
so
now
terrible.
So now we have a woman.
Yes, we have a
Playing
woman
a transgender
playing-
character.
Oh my God,
a
that's
very
good point.
beautiful
Yes,
woman.
yes.
playing
Okay,
a transgender
so
character.
how about this? But she's not a woman. She's an actual man. So
She's actually a man.
She's a
Her
woman
gender
playing a
identity
man
is
who's,
male.
who's now transgender.
Exactly.
Have you caught up? Because we sure haven't. We don't
such a
understand it, and it just doesn't make
This is
any
such a
fucking
mess.
sense.
It doesn't
And
make any sense at
even
all.
Her comments. Michelle, I'm very saddened
Go
by
get some
your
education,
comments. You
bitch.
sound real dumb. You refer to, who does she refer to as a man?
She refers
you
to
gotta read.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Kris
Kris
Jenner.
Jenner.
Kris Jenner.
It's
and,
not Kris Jenner.
No, but
It's
read the quote. Read the quote.
Yeah, read the quote.
Where is it?
I'll try. I'm going to botch this because
Is there a Kris Jenner?
Yes, Kris
Oh,
Jenner.
there is a Kris
is,
Jenner.
yes, Kris Jenner is Caitlyn Jenner's ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
Short brown hair.
Okay.
Let's see. The quote is, "Thank Kris Jenner for becoming who he became, and now you have a popular subject matter that nobody wanted to make a movie about, and now everybody's on it." Did I say that?
Meaning,
And she says, if anything, this movie is freaking
I'm sorry, I
promoting the
missed-
trans.
I missed the first line. Yeah.
transgenderism. Yeah.
What is? I don't even know what to make of that. Is that like being like? Is she dogging like trans people? Let's see. So the quote again. "If anything, it's freaking promoting it." She said, "Thank Kris Jenner for becoming who he became." And she misspoke there. She meant
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
But what's the deal there? So she's kind of hating on the trans community right now, but she's playing a trans person in this, a forced trans person.
It makes her
She's
sound.
not a trans person in
she's-
the movie.
So she's not playing a trans person.
She's a victim.
Oh, she's a victim.
She's actually what.
so
what
this movie is kind of sick.
She's actually
This
what
is
the
kinda-
religious right and the Pope fear the transgender community will do, which is turn people who aren't trans into trans.
All right, let me tell you something about
Because they're
that.
just throwing around sexual reassignment surgery.
And this
Right,
is
it's like
something-
going to
oh my
Popeyes.
God.
You can pick up a two-piece.
All right. All my cisgender friends out there, just think about this for 1 second. You're young, you're a kid, and you're like, wow, I don't fit in. Maybe I better change my genitalia. Is that where your mind goes? No, of course it's not where your mind goes. Your mind goes, I want to understand this. I want to learn why I feel this way. Does this make me gay? Does this make me lesbian? Does this make me trans? It takes years and years, and it's such a struggle. It's like everybody thinks that being a transgender person is just like, hey, I'm trans, give me a opposite genitalia.
Yeah.
I went through 6 years of therapy trying to fix myself, and that was so damaging. But I hustled my ass trying not to be transgender.
Right.
And so you think that, like,
As many do.
Yeah.
like do I wish that I just come to terms with it and had the courage to embrace who I really am earlier? Sure, but that
course.
wasn't my journey.
Right.
So, like, this movie is just.
It's just
usually like play defensive and play devil's advocate, but this is just.
This is just
jacked.
plain old exploitation.
That's
all
jacked.
it is.
Like,
Yeah.
It's interesting what Remy threw out. It's like, on the one hand, this other movie, we've got a guy, a cisgender male, who's playing a trans woman. And in this one, we have it's really fucking confusing.
We have a cisgendered woman playing a man.
A man.
Playing a cis man.
A cis man.
that
Who's
has
been forced into a sexual reassignment operation.
Yes.
We're not going to call it transgender because
it's not.
It's a reasexual assignment
Yes.
situation.
Palm on face.
A forced.
This is so bad.
And apparently, it's a botched surgery
Yes,
on
and
top
it's
of
botched.
that.
Yeah,
of course
so-
it's botched because everything needs to be cast in a negative light in this movie. Everything, apparently.
Because of course all SRS surgeries get botched in some way. But it's funny how this is the epitome of a masculine man. He's a hitman. How on earth did the doctor get his ass in the first place?
He's a freaking weak ass hitman.
Punk ass bitch.
I'm a hitman. Oh no, don't no, stop. Oh no, oh vagina. Gee, I mean, this is just bad. This has
bad.
B movie if they're lucky written all over it.
Straight to DVD.
Yeah, right. And no one even watches DVDs anymore.
Yeah, it's a movie I'm not rushing to go see.
Me
That's for
neither.
damn
No,
sure.
no. I'll see
Even when
the
it
other
comes
one.
on DVD.
I'll see the first movie we talked
Me
about,
too,
but I
'cause it's
will
probably
not
gonna
be
be
seeing
good.
this one. This is just.
I won't spend money at a theater for
Me
it. I'll
neither.
tell you that fucking much.
Right.
But
on.
I would
I
like
won't
to see it at some point just to know how much of a shit show it really
Right.
turned out to be,
Yep.
or if they surprise the hell of us and it becomes really a good movie. I mean,
Well-
anything is possible.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a fucking shit show to me.
Yeah.
But just from her quote, it sounds like she's shitting on the trans community right there.
It doesn't sound to me like she's a supporter.
She doesn't sound aware. I think what she's saying is, hey, look, you guys, no one's been talking about this until recently, and now everybody's talking about it, and I think that's a good thing.
And so she jumped on the bandwagon any way she could.
With her limited, ignorant self.
That's so
And she-
sad.
That's just it. But the way, am I just reading the quote wrong, or is this a negative? Like, I get a real negative.
No,
feel from
I
this
think we
quote.
all
So
get-
she's dogging on the trans community, and
It's her way of defending herself, I think.
Yeah, I think so
okay.
too.
I think
Yeah.
it's
By
it's
saying
a
she's-
defensive.
I'm a champion
response.
now because I'm doing I'm a champion for you
Right,
guys.
I'm helping
now.
your cause.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
I'm playing
Get
a
over
crazy
it.
bitch
Who's actually a
Guy.
man.
who's actually a man
Who never was trans.
who never was trans and was drugged against my will and forced into sexual
Cut
reassignment
my
surgery.
penis off. And I'm pissed.
But
Who wrote
okay,
this?
so wait,
Who wrote this?
this is my thought. She's a beautiful woman and she's playing this very alternative, interesting character. So a person who's actually a transgendered individual in a movie, right, gets a man in a dress, and then this psycho
So they get a
situation
woman in a beard.
gets
Gets
a
this
woman
beautiful woman
gets a
who's-
beautiful woman because she might show up in a beard for like 5 minutes of the movie,
exactly.
right, or whatever the first 20 minutes
Yeah.
until she gets abducted and all the things and right, and then all of a sudden now she's a beautiful woman. So not only is it just a sexual side, you know what? Do you see
Yeah,
what
I
I'm saying?
do
Like, she's
get-
a
I
beautiful
get it.
woman.
Yeah.
Oh, so
She's
not
not-
only did she get
She's not.
sexual
She didn't come out mannish
forced
looking.
sexual reassignment
I'm
surgery, but
assuming.
she's also had facial feminization
Yeah.
surgery and probably breast implants. And by the way, this takes months to do, but I bet it doesn't take months in the movie. And I bet they just happen to have all that shit on hand. And I bet they also just happen to be a urologist that specializes in gender confirming surgery and a plastic surgeon that can do facial feminization surgery. This movie is just shit. I'm sorry. It's just shit.
It is shit.
It's
haven't
hot.
even
It's a
seen
hot
it.
mess.
It's a hot mess.
I'm
And it's
angry
funny
for
from where
even
we're
watching the
sitting.
It
preview
is
that I
funny.
haven't seen yet.
I know. I'm angry that
Stop.
the topic is even.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very confusing thought process because when you're thinking about the societal psychology of again, and this is where my mind keeps going, of having a man play a transgendered role and having this woman play this other. What do we call
Yeah,
that?
it's not even transgender.
No, it's not.
It's a victim.
Yeah. This is
She's
like,
this victim
this is
of,
like
of
torture. This
forced
is whatever you
sexual
want to call
reassignment
it.
surgery,
Yeah.
which is $5 a pop. It's something you can just throw around.
Yeah, and this
You
rogue
know,
doctor,
Yeah.
who
rogue
just
doctor.
happens. Oh, but I guess he doesn't have to be specialized because it ended up being botched,
That's
which
correct.
is the only part of the storyline that makes any sense at all. But like, what's your why here? Seriously, whoever wrote this movie, what is your why? Like, what was your point?
Money making.
But it's not going to make any money.
Exploitative money making.
It's a
Jumping on
terrible story.
on the transgendered issue bandwagon that's so big in the news right now. Oh, if I make a movie on trans people, then this will be a big hit.
You're just a hack.
Yeah.
Yes!
You're hacking pieces together. Yep.
Okay.
We'll hack a piece off here,
Yeah.
we'll hack a piece off there.
At least with
Botched.
the other movie, the argument isn't with the quality of the content. It's just, with the actor or actress they did or didn't choose.
Yeah.
So this, I can
Well,
get
and
on
I think
board
the
with
storyline
that.
itself of the movie is a hot shit show.
Yeah. Oh no. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wrote it. I think they all just got together and smoked weed, drank tequila one night. And we're like, that sounds good.
I think we could do the same thing and come up with something so
I
much
think
better.
so too.
We should totally.
We should
With a
do
little
that.
help.
I can't smoke weed, but I'll drink tequila with you.
I'll smoke all the weed. It's fine.
Okay, right on. Got the balance. And with that, let's talk about our sponsor a little bit. Let's say some things about those folks.
Yeah, we've got an amazing sponsor. We're very proud to have.
The Velvet Rope, PDX, Portland's adult sex positive social club.
And sex positive is
Openly sexual,
right.
essentially.
Consensual.
It's all
proud.
consensual, adults proud of your sexuality, and you can do what you want or don't want to
right.
do. Nothing is forced, nothing is paid. It's all consensual. 10,000 square feet, plenty of space to have a really good time. It's a social club first and foremost, with space and opportunity for adult activities.
I love that.
Just
how you say
grown-ups
that.
being grown-ups.
Just grown-ups being grown-ups in a safe space.
And it's in Portland, Oregon.
It's in Portland,
at-
Oregon, 3533 Southeast Cesar Chavez Boulevard. And the website is thevelvetropepdx.com.
And anyone who comes to Portland, or if you're living in Portland and you come to the Velvet Rope, if you mention the Transamorous Network at the door, you will get 50% off the membership.
Yeah.
What is the membership?
It depends if you're coming in as a single lady, if you're coming as a single man, or if you're coming as a couple. The prices vary.
Okay.
So check out the website.
Great.
And as far there are transgendered individuals out there, you are taken as you walk through the door. If you walk in as a
respected.
woman and respected as you have all the rights of a single woman in the club.
Oh, I see. Got it.
If that makes sense.
Very cool.
Yeah, so you get it.
Yeah. If a cross-dresser walks in dressed up with a male ID, we will still take you as a female.
Right on.
Yes.
Very awesome.
Respect.
Place. Yeah,
Respect.
Very, very good. Very cool.
Yes, the owners, Matt and Alexis, are all about respecting all people and making a safe space for everyone. And being close friends of mine, they have a special interest in our struggle.
It's awesome.
So awesome.
And they sponsor us because of that. So thank you, Matt and
Alexis.
Thank
Why
you.
can
I don't
you
know-
not
I don't
remember her
know.
name?
I
That's
will
such
after
a
I
sexy
say-
name, too.
I know.
Alexis.
Are we gonna have sexist Alexis?
Oh,
Okay. You said it.
boys.
Anyway.
Whatever helps them remember.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. Okay.
I was thinking about a car, but,
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Alexis. She's Alexis.
she drives a Lexus.
She drives Alexis. That's a good mnemonic device.
All right.
And we're back.
You know how it goes.
Welcome back to the
sometimes. Oh my God.
Transamorous podcast.
You know, at some point in the future, when people are actually watching our shows, that's not true. They're watching.
You
a lot.
matter.
Yeah, exactly.
You matter.
When a lot of people are watching our shows, they're going to look back on these episodes and say, "Wow, those folks really did not know what they were doing."
That's not true.
We know exactly what we're doing. Talking shit
We're talking shit
and helping people out.
and helping people out.
That's right. Sharing our stories.
Yeah. Did we have any other topics?
Well, yeah, we do. We've got this one. I hope so, because we were at the middle of the show. No, we're not at the middle. We're almost at the end. But we've got this this list that was created by a relatively new magazine, I think, called transgender.com. Transgender with a Z and no E. Figure that one out.
TRANZDR.com.
You're so awesome.
Dang it, that domain's taken, that domain's taken, that domain's taken. I guess we'll throw a Z in there.
And
We'll
take
take
out
out
the
an
E.
E.
Anyway,
Still respect, though.
yeah, big respect. Big respect for Portland, Oregon, because this
Article is, what's the article?
the article is Cities with the Largest Transgender Populations by Transgender Magazine, and Portland ranks as number 2 in this
Portland,
list.
Oregon's
Numero
number
dos.
2.
Although my argument would be that I think that if you went by percentage, Portland would probably be number 1.
Percentage of population?
Yeah, as opposed to yes, there might be 100,000 trans people in San Francisco, and there might only be 80,000 in Portland.
Oh, I see.
But that would make up 30% of Portland's population would only make up 5%.
Because
so
Portland's so large
The
or so
trans
small.
density
Yeah, the
would be
dens-
much higher
oh,
here. And I think
trans density.
yeah, see, It's not all just good
Hashtag
looks.
her word.
Yeah, another one. Damn it.
So like, you walk down the street in Portland, Oregon, you will see a transgender person. You will see more than one transgender
I think you
person.
will.
You walk
Absolutely.
You walk down the street in San Francisco, you may or may not see one.
That's a good point, actually. So the trans density or the concentration of trans
per
people
capita.
yeah, in Portland is much higher.
Oh, absolutely.
We got more strip clubs and trans people. Holla.
Oh my
And
word.
microbreweries.
And
The
microbreweries.
beer's so
If you're
good.
into
The
the
beer
beer.
is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's interesting. So the cities we've got San Francisco Bay Area. Notice they highlighted the Bay Area.
Well,
as
yeah, it's the
opposed
San
to-
Francisco Bay Area. It encompasses both San Francisco, Oakland, my hometown, and Berkeley, among a few others. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure you know.
Yeah, and that's a
all
huge geographical area, whereas
Yeah. It is
Portland's
huge.
geographical area is
Pretty
way
small.
smaller
Yeah.
than that.
So if you, that's probably they're encompassing that whole entire Bay Area,
Yeah.
which is probably how they got number one.
Oh, that's because of the size.
Right.
That's a good point.
Because if it says Portland, Oregon, which is essentially here,
yeah.
we don't know how much of our suburbs and whatever that encompasses, but
I'd also be really interested to find out if they included genderqueer people in this study and identify them as transgender. A genderqueer person is someone who doesn't want to fit into one of the binaries.
Right.
And so I don't know if they did, because Portland has a plethora of genderqueer people that just don't identify like this. They just like, don't put me in a box.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, I am not male, I'm not female, I'm just me. My name is X
Yep.
or Y or whatever. So
They do say in the article, transgender recommends this living situation, Portland, Oregon, for
Portland,
transgender men, women, and non-binaries.
yeah.
looking for
Okay,
them.
so-
I was just
okay,
gonna say, I was
perfect.
just gonna read that. Recommends this living situation for transgender men, women, and non-binaries looking for a new home.
It's
Come to
place
Portland. It's the
Oh,
best. We love it. It's a
save
great
your
place
money.
to be.
Save your money.
Now, before we talk
Housing
about the
is
other cities, I want to point out to the transamorous men out there who are thinking, "Yeah, that's why I can't find anybody in Ohio." That
Oh, not true.
not true.
Not true.
Just because there's a lot of people here and a lot of people in San Francisco and the other cities we're going to mention, doesn't mean there aren't trans women in your location, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to meet one. If you,
Unless you tell yourself
unless
you
you
won't.
tell yourself you won't. Exactly. So there's no need for you to be moving to San Francisco or Portland or any of these other cities. You will find a transgender person in your hometown
Unless you want to.
unless you don't want to.
Yeah, you've been using the wrong double negatives.
Who you're pointing to both of us.
The first time you guys did.
Okay.
But anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
you'll notice that later.
Okay.
Don't move to Portland unless you want to.
Yes.
is
Long
what I was
story
saying.
short, you can find whoever you want to find wherever you're
No
at.
matter where
Period.
you are, period. So these other cities, Austin, Texas, which is interesting. Austin, have you guys been to Austin?
They're a sister city.
haven't.
They are?
Austin, Texas is Portland, Oregon's sister city.
That makes sense because it's a
They
beautiful
actually
city.
coined Portland's phrase "keep it weird." We like everybody in
Oh.
Portland thinks that we came up with that. No, it was Austin.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
I've actually been there, and it does feel like
Props.
a lot like Portland. Props
Does it?
for sure, yeah. But they're in the middle of this conservative bastion. Ugh. New Orleans, gonna find a lot of black trans women down there eating that jambalaya.
Oh my God, Nolans! I have a love affair with Nolans. It's like my probably, if I could only visit one city in the United States, hands down, it would be Nolans.
Why?
Because the culture, the food, the music, the love. I've never been to a city that had even close to as much love as Portland, like that
Maybe I should
Nolans
go
does. Oh, it's exceptional. I was walking down the street. It's like, even like I used to before I transitioned to full time, I would travel so that I could get out of Montana and be in a safe place. And I always thought, well, San Francisco, and yeah, San Francisco's okay, but it's so big that it's starting to get cold. You know, people are
Yeah.
getting hard and mean, and it's just like, you know,
Has been for years.
yeah, it's not the
said.
loving, kind, caring city that you'll find like up in Portland or maybe even Seattle, but Nolans. Oh my God, come as you are, as you please. As long as you're
Right on.
smiling and you're happy, they don't care what you are,
Right
what
on.
you're wearing, you know what. It doesn't matter. It's just, I love it. If you haven't gone, go after you come to Portland, because Portland's better.
And then Seattle, Boston, and New York are the round out the list.
Really? And I was in
New York's
Boston.
at the bottom.
I was in Boston, and I did not. I don't know.
Boston actually is just rewriting some of their laws for
Are
the
they?
transgender. Yeah, I read
They
the
are?
article this morning.
Huh.
They are basically transgendered people can use whatever bathroom and gym that you identify with,
Locker rooms. Wow.
locker rooms, gyms, all of that kind of stuff, and that they're also like they're making their bathroom loitering laws a little stricter.
Good.
So that way, you know, to help weed that out,
Yeah.
and someone
Yeah, no one need to be
and
hanging
they
out
have
in the bathroom,
no, and they have
okay?
specific
Yeah.
laws now that they're writing laws now that talk about should a cis man try to use the transgendered you know, I'm transgender, so I'm gonna go use this bathroom
Yeah.
and then start taking pictures and being a creepoid, right?
Yeah.
That is now like completely
come down
yeah, they're
hard
gonna
on that
come
shit.
really
Good.
hard on that.
That's
That's the
it
way to
should
do
be.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you just gotta go in and pee, go in and pee. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna go in there and be,
Creepy.
yeah,
Right. And these are laws like those laws have been there, but now they're extending them and making them a little bit more enforceful and stronger.
nice.
good.
Well,
So-
go Boston.
Oh, way to go,
Yeah.
Boston.
Right?
Right on.
I love reading in the
Kudos.
news when we get these updates on our phones and stuff, where there's states and cities and places that are like rewriting laws in the best possible ways and really being
is awesome.
encompassing places to be, you know, and it just makes those other places look really fucking dumb.
It does. And it's interesting.
Just saying.
It does.
The way you're reading the news is the way to seek empowerment from the news. It's like focus on those things that are happening that's good. No need on focusing on all the bad. There's enough of that to look out
If
for.
you- right.
There's like just
So many
ignore
other
that.
places to go
Yeah.
than North Carolina.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
you know, there's
exactly.
so many places you can.
Although I
be
hear that
or go.
Charlotte is fantastic. You know, that's why all of that happened. It was because Charlotte like put those progressive policies forward, and then the everybody else in the state,
conservatives.
the conservatives went, "Oh no, you don't." And Charlotte was going, "Whoa, why can't we, have these policies?" So just
I heard Asheville's really nice too. They're very open to the gay community, gay and trans community. Anyway, I think that's going to end our show today.
All right. Well, we want to remind you guys, step it up. It's time to own yourself, own your transamory, own your attraction.
Because as you can see, there's some beautiful people that you already love. So there's no point in being in the closet about it. And stop murdering them. For those of you who are out there doing that shit, beating them up. There was I watched a show, just real quickly. I watched a show last night on YouTube. A trans fashion model in Russia came out to her parents. She had been out for a while as transgender, and she has this reputation as a fashion model. And when she came out to her parents, her brother came from out of the back room and beat her ass.
what?
She had to go to the hospital. So the transamorous men, don't be doing that shit.
We are not ending on that note.
No.
We're not going to end on this note.
Okay.
That's just here's the thing. You're going to create your own reality. You want to find a beautiful, powerful, confident, sexy transgender woman, then be that man. All right? You got to be the other half, okay? You
Right?
want there are you assume that transgender women have this confidence complex and they're like, "Oh, poor me." Nah, there's some bad bitches out there that yes, right? That you'd be proud to stand next to.
Absolutely.
And so,
Right.
you know what? You want to stand next to somebody that's a high quality woman?
You gotta
High
bring your
quality
game.
man.
Be a
Gotta
high
bring your
quality
game.
man. Step it up.
Step
Bring
it
your
up.
game up.
All right. Peace.
Bye.